So why are we running this program? I've been involved with leadership development now for 25, 30 years, and many people have been to many kinds of programs, classroom programs, team building kind of programs. This is an extraordinarily different program because it does a few things. Number one, it puts you into an environment where it's you and a group of people who have to achieve something very, very real. You're going to have support around you, expert outdoor instructors, but even more, you're going to have people like myself who really know about leadership, really know about the issues that come up. And you're going to be in an environment where you really have to face the elements, and the elements are the people you work with, the terrain. My experience in leadership development is that when people do something really extraordinary, challenging, they rise to it. And while they're rising to it, they learn a lot about themselves. They learn about how they deal with things under difficult times. They learn how to use their resources. They learn how to deal with the challenges that come out of nowhere. And that's what leadership's about. And in this program, people are going to get the opportunity to do it in a way that is just an extraordinary environment. We very seldom get a chance to get out of the normal workday place to do something like this, and this program is going to do it. I think what's really unique about this program is that you don't really know how you're going to behave in it, how you're going to be involved in it, and what's going to happen. But having that challenging experience is going to test your physical stamina, your mental stamina, your emotional stamina, and even part of this is going to be your sense of connectedness with the land and the spirituality of it. I see this as the Cacioppe Trail for Australians, that it's a real chance for us to see what Australia is like, one of the most remote parts of the world. But a lot of people, I think, we go through our lives in the corporate world. We do things every day, we go to work, and we don't get that chance to really step out and test our boundaries and extend our limits. This does this, and I think it's ideal for anybody, especially people who have been in their work longer times, and they need to get a refreshment, a re-examination of who they are, what they want to be. I did something like this about 10 years ago. I went off for a month to the United Kingdom, and it just refreshed me. It made me really think about who I was, and I came back totally refreshed and totally committed to do what I want to do, and do it in the best way that I could. This program will help do that. Well, for myself, I'm going to get myself fitter than I am now. I still do some things like I bike ride 50 kilometers and I do some running, but I know this is going to stretch me. So in some ways, I think everybody coming on the program, me included, are going to actually have to really get our fitness in shape. It's 80 kilometers of walking through tough terrain on different kinds of days. But also, I think mentally what I want to do is get that time to reflect and re-examine who I am and what I want to do with how I go about my life, my company. And all of us as individuals are going to do that. It's going to give us that chance to really reflect and think. Also, what I'm planning as part of this is we'll facilitate some really good discussions about what we experienced, how we dealt with it. But in the evening, a chance to share our own stories about what we've been doing and achieving as leaders, what we want to achieve, how we're going about it, and ask ourselves real questions. And so far, the people that are expressing interest in coming along this are quite extraordinary people who in their own right are going to be great learning adventures as long as the remote location we're into. It'll be a chance to really do that and come away really clear about where you want to go and how you want to achieve some of the challenges as big as the Kimberley in your life. I think a number of people have some questions and can be a little bit skeptical because a number of years ago we did outdoor development stuff, and it was a big fad. I was part of it, Terry was part of it, and it's still going on today, and it can be very useful for organizations. What's different from this is that over the years we've looked at some of the research that's come out that says, yes, you can go on those recreational things, but if you frame it in terms of your challenges, both in your life and in your organization, and that's part of my job, to have people see what they're facing in front of them. So this isn't just a bushwalk, it's a life journey or an organizational journey. People will be framing what they're doing in life with the experiences and the things that we do during this. And people like Terry Hewitt, who's probably one of the best people you can find in this outdoor world, my experience in leadership, will bring that to really raise challenging questions, to frame their real life things so that when they go back, they see what they've done here in those contexts. That's quite different from the normal recreation. I went to South America 2 years ago to Machu Picchu. It was a great experience that we did it as a holiday, but it didn't actually, nobody helped me guide to see how that would make a difference in my company, how it would guide me as a leader. In this, all of that will be done, and it'll be done under the auspices of your organization, so we'll make sure we transfer it back into your life and in your workplace. What we will do is follow up with them about the difference they make back in the workplace. Before they finish the program, we're going to spend an evening talking about what are you going to do different, what's the things that you see in your life. I remember one of these programs, one of the participants saw that with his oldest son, he was pushing all of these expectations on him about what his son should do, and his son had a problem with a car and everything, and he saw how he was pushing his son to do what he wanted to do. He came back out of one of these programs and felt what he learned to be is to really love his son and be with his son rather than expect his son to just do what he expected. So what we'll do is follow up with people. If they make those commitments, have they lived up to it? Is there further support they need? And also just to be extraordinarily the best people they can be after this. We'll make a commitment for people to achieve that. I think the people who are going to get the most benefit are people who are looking for a real challenge in their life to extend their limits, who feel that maybe they've been doing things and they need something refreshing and extending right now. So it can be anywhere from a chief executive officer who needs to get away from the symbols and the baggage of his or her work, to senior managers or anybody who really feels, it could be even young people, women who want to test themselves out in an environment that they hadn't had before. It's somebody who really feels when they read this and hear what it's about, go, yep, it's time for me to do something. I don't need to go out of the world to the Himalayas. I got an extraordinary adventure here in Australia with people whose careers have been running these things, so I can be challenged but safe, both physically and emotionally, and yet grow very, very substantively. So it's those kind of people. And there's two kinds of safety. Terry will look after the physical safety, and I think often people think of that as a primary one, and that's absolutely important. And Terry has been running these for a long, long time, and so we'll have this physical safety handled. I also, in my experience of these kinds of programs, what's most important as well is the emotional safety, that people feel they can be themselves, they can make mistakes, they can learn from it, and they learn the skills that we often need back in the workplace to support people when they're in environments that are very challenging, often beyond their own ability to do those things they think. And they learn and struggle to achieve those things. And we need to do it in organizations all the time. You have new staff, you have staff on challenging projects they haven't done before. As leaders, we need to create a safe environment for people to be both capable in the skills, but also feel comfortable as human beings. They're respected and regarded. So my job will be to teach, not only help people stay safe, but to teach them how to keep each other safe and supportive and really become a supportive team going through a journey. I think one of the biggest things an individual will get out of this, and we often see the physical challenge and even the team challenge, and more than anything, it's a challenge about yourself, a challenge to really go inside, even while you're outside, and ask yourself, who am I? What can I do at the far reaches of my limits? What am I learning about my reactions to new environments? We're all going to be stretched in many ways, but it's really learning about yourself, and at the deepest level, you know, what is it that I really am made of? There's a lovely quote we left on a beach when we ran this. It said, "It is in the nature of humans to rise to greatness when greatness is expected." And in this environment, you're going to really have to stand up and not only put yourself under the test, but with other people. And my experience has been people come through extraordinarily terrific in this and go away with a renewed sense of how powerful they are as people and how much they can achieve. This expedition's a good word. One of the key benefits that come out of it is you'll gain a great group of, it's even more than networks, you'll gain a great group of friends. You're in an environment where you've all been challenged, you really see how people come through and stand up to this. And these often become lifelong friends. I know people who've been involved in this kind of program 10, 15 years later, they're still contacting people and asking about their families because they've been through something extraordinarily together. They've really bonded as more than a group. They became a team in the true sense of the word.